Hi everyone, and welcome to the SaleABration Global Monthly Video Hop. I'm Rachael Merrick from Merrick Makings, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from southeast Queensland in Australia. So today, that means, being Australian, everything will be in centimetre measurements. So you'll just need to bear with me as I create this card from the Softly Sophisticated stamp set. Now this is the freebie out of the SaleABration, but it also comes with a fantastic embossing folder. So let me show you the page that it is on amongst all these fabulous freebies that you can get when you purchase, but it is on page 14. So you can see here you get the stamp set, which is a photopolymer stamp set, contains 7 different stamps, as well as the embossing folder. The embossing folder is really pretty, and I'm going to show you that in a second. This twin set, it's a bundle, is actually free when you spend $180. So new mini catalogue is out. Really easy to probably create an order close to that, or to combine it with somebody else and you can share. So why did I choose this one? So let's have a little look. I really like the fact that this is a simple stamp set for beginners. There's some basic sentiments, really quite simple ones. So a hello there, very generic, you're in my thoughts and I really appreciate you. So basic, sort of like a thank you. In my thoughts can be anything from birthdays right through to sympathy card or get well. And of course a hello there, because we like just to say hello. These are great sentiments to add to your stash of stamps, and they have this matching greenery. So there is this rose-like bush with the these actually nestled 3 little floral elements nestle into here, and then this one matches this more woody type of looking greenery as well. And yes, there are lots of examples in the catalogue that you can use, but I'm going to show you something different today. So let me just move a few things aside, including this. We're going to start with a basic white cardstock base. So being in Australia, this is a half of an A4 and it is scored at 10.5 centimetres. So I'm going to use my bone folder to make a nice crease in that. And the colours that we're going to use today actually come from a product out of the new mini catalogue, and that is the Lighter Than Air 6x6 paper. So you have a look at this and you go, hot air balloons. But it's actually, I'm using some of, just a small amount of the pieces that come from the back sides of these. So it's a bit hard for me to show you, but if I flick through some of those, you can see very pretty pastels, which is what I wanted. You've got a couple of stripes and things in there as well. So these are the ones I'm going to use. I'm toying with this one and possibly this one, although I'm thinking I may not use that one. I think I just want to keep it very simple with the stripes. So for my A4 background, I have run a piece of Lost Lagoon, which is just trimmed back 0.5 centimetre smaller than the front, and I have run it through with the embossing folder, so you can see how pretty that is. So this is the side that technically Stampin' Up are saying use this side, but if you flip it over, you've got the raised side as well. So both are very pretty. Both will give you a slightly different texture if you're going to shade them or add some ink to them, which is what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to grab my blender and I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper. Just bear with me for a second. And I'm going to grab, so this is a bit of a cheat, a piece of this plastic. So a lot of this thin plastic comes in a lot of our stamp sets as a protective cover on the stamps when you get them. So they come like this, but they have that thin film over the top. I'm going to use that today because that makes blending a lot easier. Now there is a join offer, obviously Stampin' Up! Putting on a promotion, and one of the join offer is actually includes a glass mat, which is great, and I'm considering buying one myself. Obviously I don't need to join, but this will do the same thing, and this is what I tend to do with my darker ink. So like I find 𝙒𝙗𝙚𝙧𝙚 is a darker ink. I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to move some of these things so they don't get ink on them. I'm terrible at making a mistake and getting ink on everything. And I'm going to add the ink around the edges. So I'm just going to dab it in. I'm going to start off on this plastic sheeting, and I'm going to move to the corners. And what that does is normally, I'll try and show you, normally I would use a piece of paper. And what happens is, add your ink here, but you also get ink on the paper, which is fine. However, if you use the plastic sheeting, I'm going to show you in a second, hopefully it'll show up on the camera. What actually ends up happening is nothing or very little is left on that plastic sheeting. Let me see if I can wipe it off with a wet wipe, and there's nothing left. So you're actually, it sits on top of the film just like it would on the glass matting, and it actually means you're wasting less ink. So I'm wanting this ink to go all around the outside, and I don't want it to be too dark. I do want it to be just give a bit of dimension to my card. I'm going to try and do this as quickly as I can. I have got that white sheeting behind so you can see what I'm doing, because the clear sheeting, it makes it a bit difficult, particularly on this patterned background that I have here on my desk. So a little bit more, whoops, be a little more gentle. But I don't want this brush to go all the way to the center. I just want the edges. And you'll see when I'm finished what I'm talking about. And it will blends really nicely. And I try to make my corners extra dark. It just seems to work better if my corners are a bit darker. And then using my brush to blend it in. So that's what it looks like. So you can see you get that halo effect. I'm going to pop that one to the side. I am going to, you can see here, take the stripes away, but there's hardly any ink left on that. There's a little tiny bit there, which if I had to keep blending, it would have been used up. So I'm going to pop that to the side. I am going to use this one though, but I'm going to start assembling my card almost immediately. So what I'm wanting is I'm wanting this striped paper to be just a center point that I'm going to anchor the rest of my card on. You can see the back side of that one. I'm going to trim it. So this is an easy trick. You just line it up one edge, and you're going to turn it over, grab a pair of scissors, which my normal scissors have disappeared, so I'm going to use these ones, and you just trim that off. You get that lovely perfectly lined up stripe of DSP. So I'm going to add this, whoops, almost, add this to my card front. Make sure that your card front is the right way opening. I many times have made a mistake and finished my card and realised that it actually opens the wrong way. Okay, fantastic. Now I'm going to pop this to the side over here, and I'm going to bring in a die cut tag, which I did use tailored made tags for this one. This one's going to have my stamping on it. So I am going to use this set here. So these two images together to create some stamping on this. So I've got my two images. I'm going to use 𝙒𝙗𝙧𝙚 for the greenery, and I'm going to use fresh freesia, great combination for the flowers. So what I'm wanting to do is I'm going to stamp first on my scrap paper, because they are brand new stamps. So I'm going to make sure that they actually stamp beautifully. Now this is going to be more than one stamp, like so. So it kind of covers the whole tag, like that. And then the floral element. Now to line these up, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you use this piece here, I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring it up a little bit closer. It's a bud, that one. If you use that to line it up to the smallest little piece on here, that little tiny bit there, it's kind of easier. So line it up and everything else should come into place, and stamp like so. Give it a bit of a turn. Now here it is here. Obviously it's not going to stamp all that well, but I am going to keep turning. Check my stamps covered in ink. My fresh freesia does seem a bit blotchy. Probably need to look at fixing that, but for today, this is where it's going to be at. All right, so perfect. Now I'm going to bring back in my blending brush. I'm going to add just a tad to the corners where I have stamped, and I just keep pulling that ink from off that plastic sheeting right into the corner like so, and then the other side. Oops. Don't need a lot, and these brushes hold a lot of ink, so you just keep blending. Don't be tempted to add extra ink to it just yet, because you'd be surprised how much that adds. There we have it. So a little bit of extra ink blending here and here just kind of adds a bit more of an element of dimension. So we're going to pop this on here like that, and I'm going to bring in my sentiment. So I have chosen that You're in My Thoughts for the sentiment, and I am going to grab a scrap piece of cardstock that I have cut back so it's a similar size. There we go, and that's going to sit over here. So I'm just going to move the tag over just so I get the right. So you can see a lot of this floral element will get covered up. That's okay. So I'm going to do tone on tone, which means same coloured ink onto the same coloured cardstock, and that's going to match in with this ink blending that I've done. So I'm just going to make sure there's plenty of ink on there. Give it a nice stamp. And I'm going to trim that back ever so slightly on my trimmer, just so that it's not too big. And it can be eyeballed. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. I don't tend to measure these ones. And it's going to be like so. Very, very simple card. I'm actually going to add some twine to the back of this as well, and some other elements just to make it pop. So for this one, I don't have a matching twine and I don't have a matching ribbon. So I do have some leftover white twine from a kit a little while ago, so I'm going to use that. Of course, your alternative to that would be like the silver or gold twine if you were savvy enough to buy some of that before the last mini catalogue went out, which I was. That would also be perfect. So for this, I'm just making a really large bow and trimming it back. So I just want a little bit of this poking out from the back side. So let's glue this one on first. Don't tend to add a lot of ribbon to my cards, I have to admit, and I do buy a lot, but I just don't tend to use a lot, which seems a bit silly now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my glue dots and I am going to lay this bow on top. And I use a scalpel. You can use whatever you like, but I tend to find that the scalpel is the easiest. And I'm going to put my finger where I want the element to be poking out of, which is that corner, and lay it down like so. I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals so that it does stand out a little. So what I really like about this is that the whole feel of a card with this stamp set will really change according to what colours you've chosen to use. Like I said, this one, I just wanted something simple, and I actually took the inspiration from that DSP to give me my colour palette. My nails have broken, so I really am struggling today making cards when I'm used to having long nails to pick up things like the backs of the dimensionals. Okay, so here we go. We're going to pop that one on, and I want some of that poking out. I want it straight up. And that is our finished card. Like I said, very simple, but that is a great bundle to use for an all-occasion kind of card. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Follow me on YouTube as well as over on Facebook and Instagram. I do pop over on my blog occasionally too. But we do have a great team here of talented people. And if you are interested in purchasing from the SaleABration catalogue, I urge you to look at all of our videos and take into account which ones might be the best choice for you, and take the inspiration from all the videos and apply it to whatever product you choose. Thanks for joining me. Have a great start to the 2024 year. Bye for now.